Hey guys, welcome back to T Heart Books. Today we're going to talk about all the books that I read in March and what I'm going to read in April. Y'all, March was a good month, I must say. Let's chat about it. I want to talk about all the books that I read in March. Now, I had a very ambitious TBR for March. I had, let's get the others. I had some options. I normally read around 4 to 5 books a month, and I had 7 books to choose from, which is good. I chose The Story of My Life by Lucy Score, Addicted to You by Krista and Becky Ritchie, Her Sweet Revenge by Sarah Bonner, A Photo Finish, Elsie Silver, Catherine Center's The Bodyguard, The Women by Kristen Hanna, and Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Iyamidi. I believe that's how you say her name. So those were my 7 options. But let's talk about the 4 books that I did read. Let's talk about Catherine Center, The Bodyguard. This book is super sweet. This was a rom-com. I like Catherine Center. I like her books. I like her writing. And this one did not disappoint. This book is about a bodyguard. And she has an assignment. And in that assignment is she has to protect. He's an actor, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he's an actor, and she has to protect him. And all the things starts to happen, and love comes about. So this was super cute. I liked the only thing that I did not care for was that she's a bodyguard, and she wasn't that tough. She ended up being on the family's farm, and she was kind of like, she got scared at certain spots, certain sections in the book where she was on that farm, and scared of the animals. I think she fell, like they were down by the river, and it was like, for her to be a bodyguard, she wasn't very mindful, I think, or alert of her surroundings. But other than that, I thought it was good. It was cute. It gave Hallmark vibes. It wasn't too spicy, and it was a good read. I did like Jack. I liked his character. I liked there was family dynamics, some dysfunction, and a lot of dysfunction with Hannah. And so, but again, I do like it. If you want just an easy comfort rom-com, Catherine Center's your girl. The Bodyguard. And I want to think I gave this, let me look at my book journal. I gave this 4 stars on Goodreads. I think I like Catherine Center's writing, and again, easy read. So, and I think when I was coming out of February, I was kind of in a book slump, and that was a easy comfort read, and I was able to kind of get out of my book slump. And I've never really been in a book slump too much, but I think some of the books that I chose to read in February were just not, they weren't like 3 stars, 5 stars. I think I had like a 2-star or whatever. So kind of helped me get out of that. All right, let's chat about, let's see, Where Sleeping Girls Lie. Where Sleeping Girls Lie. Now, I read Ace of Spades by this author, and I really like Ace of Spades, so I chose this one. I liked the cover, and I thought the premise of this book was good. However, this one wasn't my favorite of hers. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't bad. The story was good, but it was some trigger warnings in it, right? And she does put that in the beginning of the book. But I felt like I don't know, and I know teenagers go through a lot. This is a YA book, and teenagers go through quite a bit of trauma and emotional things. I get that, but it was a lot for high school students to be going through all the things that they were going through. However, I did like it. I just gave it 3 stars because it wasn't, I don't think it was, I liked Ace of Spades concept better, but this one was still good. And this was about a girl named Sade who goes off to high school at a private boarding school. Her parents are deceased, and she goes to this school. She's alone. She doesn't have a lot of family. She's an only child, and a lot of stuff starts to happen at this school. A lot. And she is the new girl, and she's in the middle of it trying to figure out what happened to her roommate. Okay, so that's kind of where we are. I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to spoil it for you. However, I do like her writing, and the story was good. I just don't know. It was just a lot. It was a heavy book. It really was. For it to be a mystery YA, I thought it was kind of heavy. But I gave that 3 stars. And that's Where Sleeping Girls Lie by, let me put her name there. Okay. All right. 3 stars for that one. Now, another heavy book. I read 2 kind of heavy books, and that is The Women by Kristen Hanna. I gave this 3 stars. This really could have been a 4-star book, but it was long. It was really long, and the main character, what was her name? Frankie. Sort of, kind of to the end, I was like, I'm bored. I was a little bored, but the whole story was good. Talking about the women that went to Vietnam, and when they came back, how they adapted to the world, how they were accepted back, how it talked about, their time there in Vietnam and the importance of the nurses that were there. Frankie's family dynamic was very dysfunctional, very, very dysfunctional. And her relationship with her dad, and her mom, really. But how the soldiers, when they came back, and how they were treated back here on U.S. soil, it was very hard. It was hard to read. It was good to read because it brought back some things, like, because my dad was in the Vietnam War, and some things that he talked about, and I seen like things that he dealt with, and it just made my heart sad for the soldiers. And then there are soldiers that are still here that deal with the effects of this war. And you see how Frankie, when she got back, it was hard. It was hard for her and the rest of the people that she built relationships with. But I thought Kristen Hanna, still very good author. She's probably going to be an auto buy. I picked up a couple of more of her books, and I want to get The Great Alone because I seen that Aaliyah read that, and it was really good. She really did like it. And so I thought about getting that. And this kind of got me into my historical fiction era. This one and The Nightingales. And so I done picked up about, probably about 3 more historical fictions. 2 by Black authors, and then another one by her. So who knows, y'all? I may be a historical fiction girly. Not all the time. But it probably go on a rotation. So I did like that. Now I gave this 3 stars, and most of that is because it was really long, and it wasn't as long as The Nightingale, but I don't know, it didn't keep my attention as long as The Nightingales did. But either way, a very good book. I recommend if you like historical fiction. If you want to see things about strong women, there you go. Okay. Now, the last book that I read, because after those very two heavy books, I needed something that was light, something that just was, not so heavy. And I got my, yeah, if you don't know, I am reading Elsie Silver series this year. That's one of my book series that I started. And this is book 3. This is book 3. Am I wrong? Photo finish. Off to the races. No, this is book 2. Off to the races, I've read, and now we're on a photo finish. This book, y'all, I gave it 3 stars. So these books that I've read by her so far, they're not 5-star books. They're not 4-star books to me. They're about 3 stars so far. The last one I gave 3 stars because of the fact that it's almost insta-love, right? Not almost. It gives very insta-love, and it's spicy. I'm not a spicy reader. I am a Hallmark reader. Romance, right? I can deal with some, but this is, I said in my vlog, if you haven't seen the vlog of me reading this, go back and look at it. I think I'll link it below. But y'all, this is HBO After Dark in certain sections. And I'm not an HBO After Dark reader. However, the only reason why I kept reading this one is because the story of, what was his name? Cole. I wanted to know why Cole was the way he was. And what happened. Because there's history there. And it seems like in both of these, in the first book and in this one, Cole is, if the first book, he's the brother. I can't remember his name right now, but they're brothers. It's all interconnected, right? And so he's the brother, and there's trauma in the men, and I kind of like that. Not because normally the women have the trauma, and not that she didn't have issues too, but it was like a deep something happening with him, and I was so intrigued that I wanted to see what was happening. And I thought their love story ended up being cute. It took a minute for them to get physical, but I was able to just kind of skip that part and get to the meat. So that's why I kept reading it. I am going to finish this series because I'm invested. I'm invested. I've already got the books and I'm invested. So we're into it. But I gave this 3 stars. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I did not have a 5-star book in April. Let's look. I only had a 4-star book, and that was The Bodyguard. Wow. Let me see. February. Did I have a 5-star book in February? No, I did not. We're going in the wrong direction. I did have a 4-star book in February, but not a 5-star book. So I'm hoping that April is going to be a lot better because these were good and it did get me out of my reading slump. But let's talk about the April reads. Let's see if we can find a 5-star read in April. So, remember I said that I give options? Well, here are the options for April. Y'all, why do I do this? Just why? But here are my options, right? Here's my TBR for April. Now, will I get to all these? Probably not. But I wanted to kind of pull some off my shelf of ones that I would like to read, and then I'll see which ones I'll read. Now, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So it's like my TBR. Will I get them all? Probably not. And I thought about keeping 3 of the ones that I had on last month's TBR on the shelf, on the cart. So we have options. So that's kind of where we are. Okay, so don't be thinking I'm going to read. Let me see what we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8. So we got 8 with the other 3, 11. So we got 11 options for April. Let's chat about what we're going to read in April. Now, the love lyric. The Love Lyric by Christina Forrest. I actually finished this one already. And this one is about, this is the third book in the Green Sisters series from Christina Forrest. And I like this book. I thought it was good. I like Christina Forrest's writing, and she knows how to write a good rom-com. She really does. This is, like I said, Iris's story, and Iris is the oldest sister in the Green Sisters, right? Of the Green Sisters group. And this is her book, and she falls in love with one of the characters that showed up in book 1 and 2. So, love that for me and for y'all. This is super good. If you've not read the first 2 books, which is The Neighbor Favor and The Partner Plot, read those, because you don't have to read them first, but it would be good for you to read them, because some of the conversations that they have, you'll have full of context if you read the first 2 books, but you don't have to read the first 2 books, but it's always good to read that. So we got the Love Lyric. Now, I saw this. This is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. So this is my fantasy book for the month. I like to read at least a fantasy, a romance, a mystery, now historical fiction in my reading months, right? And so a lot of times it's a lot of romance. I do have mysteries. I try to get a YA, but I saw this. I'm not even sure where I saw this book at. I don't know if it was on Goodreads or if it was on a YouTuber's page. Anyway, I thought the book cover was super cute. Look at that. And I didn't even really know what this book was about, but I'm glad I picked it up because this is super cute. Let me see if I can tell y'all what it's about. I'm not going to read all of it, but it says let's try that again. A curmudgeonly professor journeys to a small town in the far north to study fairy folklore and discovers dark fae magic, friendship, and love in the start of a heartwarming and enchanting new fantasy series. And I believe this is book 1 of the Emily Wilde series. And I believe, matter of fact, I know book 2 is out because I picked that up not realizing that it wasn't this one. And I'm starting to be like, y'all, I'm not gonna pick up all the books in a series until I at least read book 1. I keep doing that, and then what if I don't like it? 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna like it, but just in case. But that's the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and that cover is super cute. It says it's in a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition is the one I got. But I love that. Now this one was on my March TBR, and I chose to put it back because this would be my mystery for the month, and that is The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. I never heard of this author before, hadn't heard of this book. I was at the pool before I moved last summer, and I was sitting there reading, and a lady was sitting there by the pool, and she told me about this book, and I picked it up. But it's a mystery, and it says, when a troubled supermodel falls to her death from the balcony of her London home, it is assumed that she has committed suicide. However, her brother has doubts and calls in private detective Cormoran Strike to investigate. Strike is a war veteran, wounded both physically and psychologically, and his private life is disarray. The case gives him a financial lifeline, but it comes at a personal cost. The more he delves into the young model's world, the darker things get and the closer he comes to terrible danger. Let me know if you read this. Let me know. I haven't seen it anywhere. So, but yeah, got that. Then, so I have quite a few. I got 3. No, 1, 2. Yeah, I got 4 romances. First Time Caller by B.K. Morrison. I'm excited to read this. I've seen it everywhere. I know you have. And I'm excited to read it. It's about a hopeless romantic meets a demoralized radio host in this cozy, Sleepless in Seattle inspired love story. Love that. I've got a couple of books by B.K. Borson that I started Love Like Farms, but I put it down, not because it wasn't good. It was just a time that I just didn't want to read it, so I put it back. But I'm excited. The girlies are talking about this one, so I think that's going to be good. All right. Now, my Elsie Silver book for the month, I put it on the cart. I don't know if I'm going to get to it, but we're going to see, is The Front Runner. This is book 3 in the Gold Rush series. And this is, so this one is Stefan's book. He's beautiful, brooding, and bossy, and she just agreed to 3 fake dates with him. We'll see how this works. So there's a friend that's in book 1 and book 2, and that's what I'm saying. It's all interconnected, so it's best if you read them, I think, in order, so you'll know the friend groups and you'll know the family, kind of like family connection, and how these people kind of mingle, intertwine, I would say. But this is Myra. She is the veterinarian. Yeah, for Gold Rush Ranch. She's a veterinarian, and he's not family. So that's going to be interesting to see how her friends react to her fake dating this guy in here. So that's a good one. Now, y'all, I am just so excited about this book, and partly because the cover eats. Do you hear me? Look at this. Look at the cover. This is The American Queen by Vanessa Miller. Yeah, I've never read anything by Vanessa Miller. I was watching Kayla's Bookish Vibes, and she showed this cover. She read it. And when I saw it, I was like, I gotta get this book. And let me tell y'all what I did. I went to Target thinking, oh, I'll see if it's there. I didn't check online, but I looked. Didn't have it. I went to Barnes & Noble in town, not my normal Barnes, but I was out and about, and we were by a Barnes & Noble. Went in there, they didn't have it. They said they had it because I had the guy check. Said they had it, wasn't there. I was so mad. So then I went to my Barnes looking for it. Did not have it. Y'all, I was upset. I'm like, why don't they have this book? And there's another book that I was looking for by her. I was looking for 3 different books, and nobody had them. And finally, I ordered it off Amazon, and they came. And then Amazon it was supposed to come next day. Amazon took 2 days to give it to me. I was so hot, because not that I was going to read it then, but I wanted it in my hands. And I was like, I was telling my coworkers, they were looking at me like, are you seriously running around trying to find this book? Yes, I am. Indeed. Indeed, I am. This one is my historical fiction for the month. And this is about, in 1869, a kingdom rose in the South, and Luella was its queen. I'm just so ready to read this book. Now, there's another book by, her last name's Dolan Valdez. She wrote Take My Hand. And I didn't realize that, but when I looked on Goodreads, I was like, oh, she does. But correlation, there's another book that's talking about this same town. It's called Happy Land, and I've got it on my list to get. But I'm excited. I'm so excited to read this. This is about William and Luella, and it's supposed to be, from my understanding, it's a true story. However, there wasn't enough information about this subject, and so it kind of went into fiction with some real life events. Okay, But this is what this is. The cover eats, and I'm excited about it. Okay. Now, these next two books are I'm in two book clubs. One on Fable. And this is we're reading Allegedly by Tiffany Jackson. And this has been on my shelf for a minute. But this says Mary B. Addison killed a baby, allegedly. She didn't say much in that first interview with detectives, and the media filled in the only blanks that matter. Whew. Let's see. Okay. I think that's where I'm going to get. I'm just going to give you guys that. Tiffany D. Jackson writes YA books, and I'm not sure. I believe this is categorized as a YA. Could be, but it says a dark, suspenseful exploration of justice and perception, and searing and true. Ends with a knife twist that would send readers racing back to the beginning again. So I'm excited about Allegedly. I read Tuesday's Not Coming, or no, Monday's Not Coming. And gosh, y'all, that book, that was a hard book. It was very good though. Very good book. And I read that one, and so I'm excited to read this one. I think the book club has already started it, so I'm behind. I need to get this. Now let's chat about. Look, y'all. I love me some Abby Jimenez. And on the first day it came out, I went to go buy it. And let me tell you, Target had no books. Barnes had no books. Walmart, no books. They were sold out. I was like, what is happening? Everybody pre-ordered. Everybody pre-ordered and got their hands on this book. And so I had to order it. So this was part of the books that I ordered off Amazon. Look at Abby. Say You'll Remember Me. Everybody wants it. Everybody's talking about it. I'm in the number. Get you one. If you like Abby Jimenez, cute, rom-com, funny, light, some of it, you know, romance, not too spicy, but just enough. Abby, auto-buy author for me. I don't even know what this is about, but as soon as I saw that she had a book coming out on April 1, immediately put on my list. Immediately put on my list. Love that for me. And everybody else that's been in line. And I follow her on Facebook and Instagram and all that. And I've seen where everybody, that's why I know everybody bought it and pre-ordered it, because there was lines and lines of people at her book signings and things like that. And so I'm so excited to get a new Abby Jimenez book for this summer. It's spring. This is what's happening. We're reading this one this month, and then my other book club is reading this book. So I love that for me. Y'all, these are my TBR for April. We have some very good options. I know, well, of course, the two book clubs, we're going to read those. American Queen, that one's going to be in, and we'll see how we get to the rest. But it's going to be a good month. I think we got a 5-star in here. I'm really shooting for a 5-star. Yeah, that's my April TBR. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you plan to read any, if you've got some books that maybe I haven't talked about and you want to recommend me some. Let's chat in the comments below. And let's have some good book talk, right? You guys have been so nice and kind in the comments, and I really do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. A lot of you are watching but are not subscribed, so subscribe to the channel. Love to have you part of our book pal community. And be kind to yourself, be kind to someone else. Please be kind, and read you some good books, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.